covering a live stream power rankings. Before I get right into that, I want to make sure that you're subscribed to the YouTube channel so you know all the updates and all the breakdowns. Without further ado, let's get right into it. We're going to go to the power rankings from 32 to 1. It's been a tough season already, so I'm going to dive right in quickly from 32 to 1. And you tell me what you think. You tell me your teams. Chime in at any point in time. You can definitely get your shout outs in. You can make sure you hit the gift box as well. And we're going to get right into it. Starting our list at number 32. This should not be a surprise, really, from the standpoint of how we've seen them struggle throughout most of the season. Is the Tennessee Titans. At 32, there's not a lot there. They have a lot of holes on their team, offensively, defensively. They made a lot of trades. They fired their coaching staff, so it's been a lot to be valued there. Um, their one win is questionable, again, but Cam Ward is struggling. He's having an okay season, but you got to think about this. A lot of the players that are on the team now won't be there when he needs them. Um, and then I'm talking about next season. I'm talking about year after next. Cam Ward, with the new coaching regime that comes in, they're going to have to be patient. They're going to have to understand him, and they're going to have to understand that this team it's a progress thing. It's a 17-week progress thing with this team because they have no real talent on that team, from wide receivers to, I mean, you got a couple of defensive players on there, but outside of that, it's not really a lot of stuff there. So 32 is where they fit. Coming in at 31, after getting that big win last week, you got to think about this. Jets. The Jets not only they're at a crossroads where they're trading players. They're trading Quinn Williams. They're trading Sauce Gardner. They've had a busy week for trades and things like this and conversations about trades. But for the standpoint, you just ask yourself, what's the direction for the Jets moving forward? For the remainder of the season, are they tanking? Are they trying to get the number one overall pick to better their chance of getting a primetime player? Or are they going to actually keep fighting for the rest of the season? That remains to be seen, but at 31, they fit right in. They're wholesaling everything, basically. Coming in number 30, the Saints, same thing. The Saints are a bad team. They need a quarterback in the worst way, and I think the quarterback position is going to set the rest of this team up for them being successful. I don't see them having a great rest of the second half of the season. I think that, Kellen Moore has his work cut out for him. And, I mean, this is what we have to work with. This is basically it. And, the Saints are not a contender in any way, shape, or form. They could trip people up because they do have a decent Alvin Kamara sighting every now and then. But other than that, I don't have faith in the Saints to do anything. Number 29, you're going to see the Browns at some point in time play Shedeur Sanders. I know they're playing with Dylan Gabriel now, but Stefanski should be on his way out the door at the end of the season. I don't expect him to come back. But for the most part, the Browns' defense is very serviceable, if you will. You got Myles Garrett, you have Denzel Ward, you have a couple of different guys. But from the standpoint, the Browns are abysmal. At 29 is where they belong. Coming in number 28, same thing, the Raiders. The Raiders is getting Brock Bowers back this week, so the offense should take a pick-me-up. But as long as Geno Smith is still continually turning the ball over and not giving them the best possible throws, this is why this team is where it is. And they've thrown themselves out of a lot of games. When you throw 2 interceptions, 3 interceptions, 4 interceptions, and then have to claw your way out, it sucks. It sucks. Your team's not going to like that often, and Pete Carroll can't win with that. So they're going to be looking at quarterbacks in the draft. Miami Dolphins, 27. They're wholesaling everything. I'm surprised they didn't make more moves at the trade deadline to get rid of some of that salary cap so they don't have to pay people. But again, with the picks that they have, with the players that they have, they're unloading salary cap slowly but surely. I don't think Cheetah's going to be there next season, so that's going to be one of those things for them at 27. At 26, it's a bright spot. The New York Football Giants, as bad as the season that they're having is 2-7, their 2-7 isn't really a true 2-7, so it's a brighter spot. They have a lot of things that they can do better and do well, but their 2-7 is coincided with, you see the potential, you see so many different things that's going on, and you think, okay, with a couple of healthy players like Malik Neighbors, like your Scatterboo coming back, and things like this next season, they're going to be in good hands. I think that Brian Dable and them have shown enough to save their jobs for this year, because a lot of the stars that they have on that team have gone down. Jackson Dart has shown enough to be a leader, And he's shown you enough to where he's making the big throws. He's finished the game strong. He's making sure he's hitting the right targets. And, I mean, sometimes you're just playing teams that are more talented than you. You're playing teams that have more energy and effort and better scheming than you. You can't really do anything to stop that. But coming in number 25, they shouldn't be here, but they're here. They have immense talent on the offensive side of the ball. They have a young quarterback that's actually out there performing. It's the Atlanta Falcons. As good as the Atlanta Falcons are, they should not be this far down at 25 on the power rankings list. They have to improve on their in-game adjustments. They have to improve on using Bijan Robinson more often. Because even if you got Bijan Robinson as a decoy, he's still opening the field for everybody else and still making sure those things happen. For the most part, I like Penix. I like Kyle Pitts and the way that they're using him now. The coaching regime leaves a lot to be kind of desired, because not only are they losing in different ways, they're down often in these games. Just look at New England. Look at the game they played against the Patriots in New England. They were down by 21 points, and it's just like you have to fight and claw to get back in, to where now your energy is going at the end of the game. So the Atlanta Falcons are at 25. They should be a lot higher in the NFC South, where there are competitive teams now. The Panthers are competitive, the Bucs are competitive, and the Falcons are competitive. They should be higher on this list. Coming in number 24, the Commanders. Now, if Jaden Daniels does not come back for the rest of the season, I wouldn't be mad at it. You got to think they need to protect that quarterback more than ever, because he's been getting nicked up, dinged up. He's been getting injured. And he's been out the last couple of weeks. He's been in-game, out-game, in-game, out-game. And the way that his elbow twisted, it was gruesome. But thank God he didn't break anything. Thank God there was no ligament damage. And I think from the standpoint, the Commanders need better players. It's just factual. Yes, they improved the offense a little bit by getting Deebo Samuels. Yes, they included Laramie Tunsil with the offensive line. But they haven't really gotten dividends from these trades that they've made in the offseason. You know, having a Deebo Samuels isn't the greatest thing if your team is down 21 points. You saw against the Seattle Seahawks, they got going a little bit on the first drive, but after that, it was non-existent for everybody. Everybody took a vacation in the second half. And Cliff Kingsbury needs to scheme this team open to where it's easier throws. It's easier things, and Jaden Daniels doesn't have to do everything. Because at this point, it's almost like he has to force feed somebody the ball or get them to do things, and that sucks. Coming in number 23, the Cincinnati Bengals. If their defense was able to stop somebody, they would be higher. They would have so many more wins if their defense could simply slow somebody down and get one stop. I count at least 2 to 3 wins that they should have had, but because the defense is where it is, it just sucks. It truly sucks. Joe Flacco has not only come and revived the offense, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, they've been balling out. So the defense is really the black eye for this team. Again, when you're scoring 39, 40, 41, you shouldn't be losing games. But the defense is just giving up points. So, number 22, the Arizona Cardinals. When you're looking at just the news of Kyler Murray being put on injured reserve, that opens the door to make me think that this team is possibly going to get rid of him. Jacoby Brissett has been serviceable the last 3 games. The offense has been better. Not only has the offense been better, but Marvin Harrison Jr. has been getting more touchdowns. McBride's been getting more touchdowns and catches and targets. Wilson's been getting more touchdowns and targets and catches. So this offense has really grown up before our eyes without Kyler Murray on the field, without him being injured. So there's so many different things now, and I have to ask myself, with the Arizona Cardinals and where they are now, competing in the NFC West, do you trust them against the Niners? Do you trust them against the Seahawks? Do you trust them against the Rams? And it's so much now that, they're going to have to improve the offseason, and unloading that Kyler Murray contract, unloading some of these bigger contracts on the team is going to allow this team to become better in free agency and in the draft when they're drafting. So the Arizona Cardinals, as long as they got Jacoby Brissett at the quarterback position, they still should play better. I like them to get a couple more wins against teams that possibly are thinking that they have the advantage on them. But I don't know. I don't know from that standpoint. Looking at the Dallas Cowboys are at 21. The Dallas Cowboys made a trade for Quentin Williams, and I still think this team is still in the same situation it is. They still do have the product of what they traded for Micah Parsons for on the team. But you got to ask yourself, are they going to catch the Eagles? Are they realistically going to catch one of these playoff spots at the 5th or 6th position? The answer is probably no. You know, Dak Prescott, as good as he is, and Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, offensively, they're head above his shoulders, but they're not producing when you need it in prime time. They're throwing big numbers late, and it looks like they're having a ball out season. When you're down by 21, so you got to chuck the ball 40 times in a game, and all of a sudden you got 10 targets, you catch 7 of them for $140. It looks good, but are they really winning? Are they really doing what they need to from that standpoint? Number 20, the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans by far have been up and down, but that's partially because the offensive line. And then you got to think, C.J. Stroud was injured. C.J. Stroud took a big hit, concussion, but the defense still played its ass off. So it's Atlanta. It's Atlanta, Jay Will. But from the standpoint, it's so much that's going on with the Texans. The defense is putting them in a situation where they can win games. Stingley, Will Anderson Jr., Danielle Hunter. These are the things that you really like to see what these teams are balling out doing. So with them, as long as their offense is somewhere respectable, as long as they're doing something like that, I can see this team rising in the power rankings. Number 19, the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens have an interesting backstory because, you know, they've been trashed the first couple of weeks. Defense, offense. It's been Lamar Jackson show now. Now that they got a couple of wins under their belt, it's a couple of wins. Now all of a sudden you're starting to pick up more. You're starting to see the Baltimore Ravens of old. You're starting to see the defense be more opportunistic, them get turnovers, them essentially pushing the pace, them running the ball with Derrick Henry more, and getting back to Baltimore Raven defense. That's what you want to see. And the Baltimore Ravens are essentially one of those teams where you want to see them pick up where they left off, and it's that much more better with the Baltimore Ravens. I don't see them slowing down. I don't see them essentially slowing down. I look at the next biggest game for them is going to be the Steelers. You have an opportunity to play the Steelers multiple times in your division. You have an opportunity to catch them. So I think they're going to be winners of the AFC North when that slows down. Coming in at number 18, you got to think, the Minnesota Vikings. J.J. McCarthy has come back. They beat the Lions. So now you got to ask yourself, are they that better than the Lions, or did they just sneak up on them and get them at a different time? You know, from the standpoint, the Detroit Lions have a potent offense. The Minnesota Vikings can confuse people on defense. They have a lot of the guys that are talented on defense, that can play multiple roles, that are multi-talented, that can, you got the corners that can also play safety. You got the linebackers that can also double down and help with the run game. You got the defensive tackles that can switch in DN and play in coverage as well. They have multi-skilled players at every level. So offensively, while they're struggling at the quarterback position, Justin Jefferson makes the best of his. Addison makes the best of his. Hockley makes the best of his. But you got to think, from the tight end standpoint and wide receiver standpoint, they have, what up? Thank you, Douglas. They have a tremendous offensive package. It's just JJ has to get the ball out. He has to get the ball out. And if he can get the ball in the hands of Justin Jefferson, if he can get the ball in Addison's hands, the work's done. Get the ball out. Throw anticipatory throws. Get the ball to a certain point and where Justin Jefferson can go up and get it. It's almost like Randy Moss when you throw up to Justin Jefferson. So to me, I love the offense. I love the defense. It's just the quarterback position. I'm not saying JJ's not the guy, but they're going to have to start showing that he is the guy so they don't have to either make a trade in the future or either draft another guy in the draft. Because you got to think about this. Having a team like Minnesota, when you have the offensive firepower to compete with some of the best, it's just like, damn. It says Addison is extremely underrated. That's like Chase. Yes. If you put Joe Flacco on the Minnesota Vikings, what do? You've got a whole much better offense. If Joe Flacco was literally to get traded to the Minnesota Vikings, he'd be doing the same thing in Minnesota. They have a slightly better offensive line, and they have a defense. If Joe Flacco was here in Minnesota, it'll be 3 extra victories. I am. Yeah, yes. We're moving on to number 17, the Chicago Bears. This team, offensively, they're picking it up. We've seen them go on a win streak. We've seen them lose recently. But at the same time, you just got to ask yourself, from the standpoint, what are they really doing? What are they really doing when it comes down to the Bears? The Bears have all the offensive firepower that you're wanting and expecting. They just have to execute. And the defense gives up a couple of plays each game. They give up bombs. And I'm talking about bombs like big plays where the other team's scoring. But they have to have balance. They have to be able to keep Caleb Williams upright and make sure that he's not running for his life every play. But also at the same time, this team is diverse. I like the coaching staff. I think with more weeks, you'll see better product. I think Caleb Williams will be more healthier in his approach. And I think that this team is going to show you the growth that they're having. Coming at number 16, it's a surprise, but the Carolina Panthers, even without their starting quarterback, you still got to think. They're still in a position to where they can attack and possibly make the playoffs. Those young guys that are used to losing are starting to win more. They're starting to get more reps. And now that they can run the football with Donald, now that they can run the football with Chubb, they have interchangeable running backs. Andy Dalton can be the quarterback. It doesn't have to be Bryce Young. It says Caleb can do Superman plays, but he fails at basic stuff. Absolutely, I agree. The Carolina Panthers are not only somebody that can grow, but they're that sleeper dark horse team that if they get you in a game and it's close, they can beat you because they have wide receivers. They have running backs. It's just they need somebody to get them the ball in space and be active and open. So, coming in number 15, I think this team is fool's gold. Jacksonville Jaguars, as good as they've been this season and had success, early on they outperformed themselves, and I think that they're going to start coming more down to earth. Their play is going to be fitting more to what they are, and you're going to see them be more of a realistic product, and you're not going to see the expectations be more than what they are. Trevor Lawrence, as good as the quarterback he is, he's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He'll give you 2 good games, 3 bad games. He'll give you 2 good quarters, 6 bad quarters. He'll throw an amazing passer rating for 1 quarter, and it'll look like Dan Marino, and then the next quarter he'll give you interceptions, fumbles, incompletions, punt. So they have to work on these things. They have to work on being consistent in the AFC South because the Colts are running that division right now. Coming in at number 14, they're going to be rising in the power rankings, I feel like, once they get more healthier and once they get Brock Purdy back. But the San Francisco 49ers, as good as Mac Jones is Mac Jones going to be leading this team once Brock Purdy is healthy? The answer is probably no. They paid Brock Purdy handsomely as far as the money that they gave him. So I think that they're going to start wanting him to produce. So even though Kyle Shanahan's offense is easy and you can just put it on like a glove, they still need production from other players. They have to make sure they stay healthy enough to field the team for the playoffs, because I feel like at this point in time, you're wasting opportunities if you're Kyle Shanahan and company, because you have a talented group. You have a talented roster. You just have to kind of make it all piece together. You have to kind of put it all together to where now Christian McCaffrey's healthy. Kittle's healthy. Your offensive line is healthy. You're pushing, you're moving, you're grooving. That's what I want to see out the 49ers, because they are a talented group. They are a talented bunch, one of the most talented groups in the NFL. And you think about this, offensively, they have young guys all over the place. They have skill set players all over the place. And it doesn't matter if they're starting, backups, third string, fourth strings. Kyle Shanahan prepares everybody well. With his play calling, with his scheming, and also with having Coach Robert Saleh on that defense, you have 2 head coaches coaching right now. Robert Saleh with the defense, Kyle Shanahan with the offense. Makes it that more tough. Coming in at number 13, the Chargers. The Chargers have to make a decision. They're 6-3 right now. We've seen Justin Herbert. We've seen him be a game manager. Now it's time for him to take over games. It's time for him to set the tone offensively and push, do whatever he has to do to get the Chargers motivated to wins every single week. Yes, losing those guys is one thing. You still got dogs in that locker room. We've seen them for the last couple of weeks play without both. Fred Warner just went down. Bosa went down earlier in the season. They have the guys on the fort that can keep it respectable for them. So from that standpoint, I do hear you, but they still are professionals. They're still getting paid. The second string guys, third string guys are still getting checks. They have to produce for the 49ers every week. But the Chargers, essentially, they're going to have to let Justin Herbert be the franchise quarterback. They're going to have to let him throw a little bit more. They're going to let him have to let him control the line of scrimmage a little bit more with the audibles and the calls. With them running out of running backs and them having a lot of injury at the running back position, it makes it tough because they're trying to lean on a run game that's not really supportive right now. So now you see the inconsistent play. Now you see the inconsistent stuff on Sundays where they're struggling with teams because they can't run the football. That's when you have to make your screen game a part of your run game. That's when you have to dink and dunk and make those little dink and dunk throws where now all of a sudden the offense is running and then boom, you can go over the top and beat a team deep. Use a little play action. Use some of those things when it comes to that. The next team on the list at number 12 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't trust Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback, and you're going to see them slowly fall down to where the Ravens are. The Ravens are going to pass them at some point. They play the Ravens 2 more times. They're only a game back from them after having a horrendous start to the season for the Ravens. I believe that Pittsburgh is going to sink down. They're still going to make the playoffs, but the Ravens are going to leapfrog them in record-wise, and they're going to end up winning the actual AFC North. I like what they're doing as far as DK Metcalf, getting him involved early and often, making sure he's getting catches, but too little, too late. They're losing football games in dramatic fashion. Yes, they've picked up a couple of wins throughout the season, but you want to see more consistency. You want to see them run the ball more. You want to see the wide receivers developing more. You're not seeing that really with Pittsburgh. You're seeing flashes in the pan, and you're seeing a defense that plays man-to-man that's making big plays often. And they're making big plays often because the offense is not really scoring a lot of points. So it's one of those things. Coming in number 11, they had a shocking loss against the Carolina Panthers last week, but the Packers, with them having Micah Parsons and him creating pressure and him doing so many different things, they were kind of exposed at home. And the Carolina Panthers took it to them, punched him in the mouth several times, ran the football, did everything they wanted to do. They just couldn't stop them. So that opened up a hole essentially for the Green Bay Packers for people to see a weakness on their team. Now, will Micah Parsons be able to help with the run? I don't know that. But I do know this. Time's running out for them in that defensive line. They need to make some choices and figure out who's going to help them stop the run when it comes down to it. Coming in number 10, this is where it gets spicy. Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs started out dead in the water. They were losing games. Patrick Mahomes and company caught fire. Andy Reid and company have caught fire. The defense is starting to play better. They've gotten their weapons back. Rashee Rice is back. So now the offense is starting to look more balanced. They're going back and forth. So now what lets me know they're putting pressure on other teams to win football games. Yes, they did lose to the Bills this past week. But moving forward, their schedule looks very easy. They have the Denver Broncos on there. But besides that, it's not a lot of tough games on there. It's not a lot of contenders on there. So that lets me know that they have a softer schedule that's going to allow them to be flexible in what they're doing as far as picking up players, using players. And let's be clear, Patrick Mahomes is a wizard with the football. He can throw it anywhere. He can make any throw. He can do anything he wants to do. And they're going to make the plays. Everything from Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice, it doesn't matter who it is. They're going to continuously make plays. Coming in at number 9, the Seattle Seahawks. Enough needs to be said. We saw Monday Night Football. We saw the thrashing, the belt-to-ass whooping that they put on Washington Commanders. That just goes to show you they got an even bigger weapon from New Orleans this week. So to me, adding pieces there and doing what they needed to do, now all of a sudden you got Jackson Smith, you got Kenneth Walker, you have so many different pieces that can go off offensively. Now you're going to be even more balanced. Now those 3 receiver sets, you're going to have a little bit of Cooper Kupp. You're going to have a little bit of Jackson Smith. You're going to have a little bit of the third guy they got from New Orleans. So it's going to be more weapons, more time, more transitional points for this. So the Seahawks are at number 9, number 8, the New England Patriots. Now, I was thinking of putting them a little bit lower because they struggled with the Falcons to close that game, but they still won the game. Coach Vrabel and company rarely make the same mistake twice. They rarely make the same things happen over and over and fail. So to me, this makes them that much more deadlier. I like them at 7-2. They still have to face the Bills. They still have a couple of different matchups they have to take up. But from the standpoint, I like where they are at number 8. Coach Vrabel has them in a good position. Coming in number 7, without Patrick Surtain, they're still great. But I want to make sure people are understanding that this Denver Broncos team is special. Doesn't matter if it's offensively, defensively, whatever it is, they're still rocking out. Without their best players, they're still being great. Without their best players, they're still winning football games. They're still coming back in the fourth quarter and dominating in dominating fashion. So that's what I like at 7. Number 6, the Detroit Lions. Yes, they lost to the Vikings. Yes, they slipped up a little bit. But you have to understand and you have to realize that this team has been playing up, down, up, down, up, down. The energy has to be the same for every game. You're everybody's Super Bowl now, so it doesn't matter if who you are, where you are. If you're in a successful position, team's going to beat you. The Detroit Lions have been knocking on the door for Super Bowl for some time. So with all the weapons that they have on offense, with all the defense that they're developing, I think they have an awesome opportunity. They have that motor that doesn't stop, and they continuously play. They continuously get the offense better. I believe in it. I think the Lions are exactly where they need to be at number 6. Coming to number 5, Matthew Stafford is a wizard. Seeing him make the biggest throws, seeing him have the biggest game, seeing him do all these things just makes you think, okay, that's why he's special. The former number 1 overall pick. So that lets me think that, okay, they have still something left in the tank. Sean McVay is probably the best play caller in the NFL. I think that, from the standpoint, they have a lot of complementary pieces with the Rams on offense and defense, so it just remains balanced out. So that's why I like them at number 5. I think that's going to be good for them. Number 4 is Tampa. Number 4 is right where they need to be. This game this weekend is going to show us a lot between New England and Tampa. I'm going to hold my thought till after the game because I want to see what they actually do, but I like them at 4. Coming number 3, the Colts. Yeah, the Colts got slapped around a little bit by the Steelers, but at the same time, you have to understand you can be make or break and still have success. You can still really have a Colts team that doesn't really have a power running back as far as Jonathan Taylor, but then you have to ask yourself, when you're seeing him in the open field catching passes, when you see him lining up as a wide receiver, he doesn't do the things that you think he's going to do. But he still outsmarts people. He still plays with better leverage. He still has good size and focus. That's why we have him on the team. So to me, his physical nature of being able to run the football, his physicality, whether he runs between the tackles, outside the tackles, that's why the Colts are number 3 right now. Even in the loss, they still look pretty good. So coming in at number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, they had a bye week. Yes, they slid down from the 1st overall spot to the 2nd, but they were inactive this week. Yes, they made trades to get guys into the building that are now a part of the organization, but this is going to be something coming. They're getting A.J. Brown back. They're getting a couple of different pieces back that are now healthy and able to play. So from this standpoint, I want to see them continuously do what they're doing. I want to see them continuously carry the NFC East flag. And when you think about this, the Eagles have been the best overall top-to-bottom team throughout the year. From the way that they're executing the tush push to the defense being opportunistic, it's a number of things that are just happening. So, and last but not least, the Buffalo Bills, the number 1 team after beating the Kansas City Chiefs. The proof is in the pudding. Josh Allen, MVP ways. Josh Allen pulled the Patrick Mahomes on the Chiefs. Being able to shut them down, being able to do what they wanted to do, and essentially hurt them from essentially putting it up in time. You looked at Patrick Mahomes with that last Hail Mary towards the end of the game. It was like, so it's one of them things. But I want you guys to tell me what you think about the power rankings. I went from 32 to 1. You tell me in the comment section. You tell me at the end of the video what you think about this. And definitely check out Sports Choice Plus. For all the things that you want to hear and talk about, feel free to definitely put it in the comment section. And then I'll see you guys on the very next episode. It's been a pleasure.